just written. It was written actually 30 years ago. And when the play was first produced, it got a great deal of recognition and it toured the world. It became a very popular play internationally within the hearing community. But it was a play that the deaf community did not know about. Now, we've given this play, we produced this play 4 times at Gallaudet. People don't really realize that. And we're back, and we feel like in some ways it's a new production. Now, I'm not going to go on for very long because I want you to enjoy the moment. This is the moment that's going to change your mind, your thinking about Black inventors. Welcome. And people ask me about myself as director. You know, and I enjoy the play, I enjoy the actors. This is a wonderful group of actors who worked very hard to produce the show with only 3 weeks in rehearsals. They've got some amazing talent.
Black Inventions. It is not the vast impact on humankind that makes these discoveries so amazing. What truly tilts the imagination is that the worldwide effects of Black ingenuity, although well documented, strangely lack recognition in the annals of world history. But tonight, we're going to rewrite that book and make certain that our intellectual accomplishments occupy their proper places in the front pages of history, not the back. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we will present to you proof that our foremost contributions to this world are of the intellect, the eighth wonder of the technological world, the contraption. All right, machine, tell me this. What did Black inventors invent?
Coffee, aspirin, tetracycline, and castor oil. Fuses, vaccinations, and mathematical computer circuitry, the fire extinguisher and the bow and arrow, the fountain pen, the boomerang, and martial arts.
All right, machine, you're so smart. Tell me this. Who performed the first successful open heart surgery?
Well,
performed the first successful open heart surgery. His name, Dr. Daniel Hale Williams.
He's having a heart attack. Oh, but I'm not worried because in 1897, Dr. Daniel Hale Williams performed the first successful open heart surgery. Thanks to his surgical techniques, heart operations are common affairs, so we'll just get an ambulance.
No, Gene, wait. Just hold me and listen. Remember when I told you these guys jumped me and took all my money? I lied. They didn't rob me. I lost your $500. I would have told you the truth, but I was too embarrassed.
That's okay, my African king. You're only human. I still love you.
Remember when I told you the mortgage company foreclosed on our house and threw us out on the street? I found out later that I sent the rent check to the wrong address. They never got it. I would have told you,
It's
but I was
okay,
too embarrassed.
my African moonbeam. I still love you.
There's more.
Or?
Remember that cat you loved so much? I don't know, I didn't run away. I ran over it. I would have told you the truth. I'm so ashamed. I'm so ashamed.
No need to be ashamed, my African cactus plant. And no need to worry, because Dr. Daniel Hale Williams performed the first successful open heart surgery. And by the way, this is no heart attack you're having. It's poison. I would have told you, but I was too embarrassed. Yes, Dr. Daniel Hale Williams performed the first successful open heart surgery. But there were many who claimed he didn't perform surgery at all. They swore he performed a miracle. Well, he performed his greatest miracle when he made a hospital out of nothing.
Emma, did you see the cat wants to slip on you? Emma, I'm in no mood for your unfounded accusations this early in the morning. Obviously, it's the hospital's button. Obviously, some barbarian who doesn't have a home trainer to clean up after himself. I appreciate your concern. I appreciate it even more if I needed it.
And go right ahead, scrub the floor. It does not want good to see you winning your medical degree from such a good. Why do you do this stuff?
Because I've learned, Emma. I've learned. See, my father taught me a long time ago that human ability is without boundaries. What you deem as pushing and punishing is simply a sample of one man exercising a small fraction of his total capability. If I choose to put this hospital on my back, and with you on top, I will. Emma, you'd be surprised how little sleep God requires when you're doing good for people. Besides, Martha, it's still early. Let me stay up late tonight.
the contacts I've made in just the first day are enough to boost my career 100-fold. This club is so high class that I had to hide the fact that I'm working here, probably thanks to Dr. Williams' assistance that we treat such questionable clientele.
Not to mention the questionable dedication of some of our questionable doctors.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
If we could just get Dr. Williams to listen to reason.
You haven't given him a reason to listen.
That's exactly what I'm trying to.
Good
I beg
morning.
your pardon.
Good morning, good morning. Take your seats. This will be a brief but important session.
What did you say?
I'd like to re-emphasize our push to rid this hospital of lethal infection through scrubbing ourselves and cleaning the hospital thoroughly before operating. Since the inception of private hospital in January of 1891, we made significant strides at the lowest death rates of any hospital in the entire state of Illinois. This is largely due to our antiseptic practices.
Yeah, there's more. May I interrupt?
Certainly, Dr. Hall.
Instead of discussing washing our hands before then, allow me to propose a more important matter, such as the revamping and re-evaluation of our fundraising strategies. Now, I have contacted certain political affiliates.
Excuse me, Dr. Hall. As you have clearly stated, funding is a very important matter. It deserves more time than we have to offer.
Does this mean I cannot be heard?
It's not a matter of allowance. It's a matter of time. There is none. Our hospital is dangerously understaffed. We must conclude this meeting so we can tend to our patients promptly. We will reconvene on funding in a few days.
Now, am I allowed to speak to you?
I think what the doctor is trying to say,
I'm well aware of what he's trying to say, Miss Reynolds.
then be quiet.
I beg your pardon.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
Nurse Reynolds, if you can't say something nice about someone, then don't say anything at all.
Now, Dr. Williams, while you spend your time washing our hands, your neglect of funding and politics is a direct threat to the very survival of this institution.
Go ahead and speak, Dr. Hall.
Never mind, I'll bring it up at the next meeting.
Very well. Before I proceed with the matter at hand, I'd like to first remind us all of our miraculous accomplishments. Hospitals have become places where people, especially poor black people, come to wither and die. Here in the 1890s, 90% of all cuts and incisions lead to infection. 75% of all abdominal surgery to death. We changed all of that here at Providence. I recall when we first began this hospital, we went door to door borrowing furniture, food, and cooking utensils. But our superior doctors more than made up for our lack of adequate medical equipment. Doctors such as Frank Billings, a professor of physical diagnosis, and the Danish surgeon Christian Fagan, who was well schooled in the latest German surgical techniques. Hospital is one of the only hospitals that offer the poor as well as the rich expert care. Let us not forget, this is largely due to our clean hospitals, clean uniforms, and clean bodies. There are entirely too many surgeons who won't hesitate to operate in street clothes, covered with aprons, smeared with the blood of previous operations. Now, fortunately, they will wash their hands, but generally after operating.
There's more to being a doctor than eternally scrubbing one's hands and swabbing carbolic acid all over the place.
There may be, Dr. Hall, but nothing is more important. Louise Pasteur and Joseph Liston have shown us the intimate connection between bacteria, dirt, and disease. Germs spread rapidly and cause death in a very short time.
Pasteur and Lister may have proven this in your mind, Dr. Williams, but there are many prominent physicians who do not agree with their theories. Imagine little green-eyed monsters so small they cannot be seen, beating up a 6-foot, 200-pound man.
Ignaz Semmelweis also showed us that clean wards save lives dramatically.
My God, man! Semmelweis ended up in an insane asylum. I imagine he would see creatures running around, I want to suck your blood. This staff might do this hospital better by voting me into a position where I can utilize my circles for the improvement of the facilities here. Otherwise, scrub it up done. I ask you, Dr. William. Are we doctors or dishwashers? Is Providence a hospital or is it a kitchen?
No, Dr. Hall. Providence is not a kitchen, nor is it a place where Negroes climb social and professional ladders.
I beg your pardon.
Stab him, doctor! It's deep and puncture his heart!
Then there's nothing we can do.
Let's go inside. Let's go.
Don't do this, doctor. Please don't operate on his heart. You can't win. If the surgery is successful, they'll call it a fluke. But if it fails, they'll call you a fluke. They'll blame you for murdering him. You will be called incompetent for even attempting an operation so dangerous. And if the director of the hospital is incompetent, how competent can the staff members be? Our enemies will have all the ammunition they need to destroy our reputation and blow Providence right off the face of the earth. Our funnels will run away like scared rabbits. Don't do this stuff. Heart surgery has never been tried before, so the chances of this patient living are zero anyway. Why risk thousands of dollars? Why risk the life of this hospital for a man who's already dead?
Already dead?
Yeah.
Or remind me, if I had run for office, they would come you for a vote of confidence. But I'm not. So I base it on medical fact, not political consequences. Fact one, a man is dying. Fact two, I will save his life. Fact three, we are wasting time.
Can you imagine having a man's life and the lives of hundreds of others depending upon how well you perform? The man's hands remain steady under such overwhelming pressure. Well, the operation was successful, and the patient lived a long, happy life. Amazing. We are constantly portrayed as entertainers, athletes, and derelicts. But our foremost contributions to this world are of the intellect. Hey, who put shoes on your feet? Jan Ernst met Zeliger. But before we peek into his life, let's peek into this book. Multiple effect evaporation. The Department of Agriculture, let's peek into this book. Multiple effect evaporation. Department of Agriculture called it the greatest invention in the history of chemical engineering. Created by a man named Norbert Villiers, multiple effect evaporation is an ingenious method of processing sugar, milk, soap, gelatin, glue, and over hundreds of other products we now use today. Now you mean to tell me you can't pick up a bar of soap or a glass of milk without thanking a black inventor? Quite chunk, you can't. Nor can you put on a pair of shoes without thanking Jan Ernst. That's illegal.
Normally I take baths. But you see, I got tuberculosis, I got influenza, I'm undernourished, overworked, and nervous. So I might as well be dirty too. Hey, let me tell you a little secret. This is just between you and me. I'm a genius! And I'll tell you something else. There's a piece of me in every country around the world. From California all the way to Los Angeles. You don't believe a word I'm saying, do you? Well, I'll prove it to you, smarty pants. Excuse me, miss, you got some big feet. Only you can stamp out forest fires. Now, I'll prove to you I'm a genius. Take off your shoe. Come on, take off your shoe. Forget you then. I need you anyway. Like a bed of roses? Now, the shoe has three basic parts. The sole, the heel, and the uppers. The most important part of putting the shoe, making the shoe is connecting the sole to the uppers. This is a process called lasting. See? Told you I was a genius. Yes, it has been a long time. But you remember me. You must have a photographic memory. Too bad it never developed.
Remember working beside you in the shoe factory. you worked yourself to the bone trying to build a machine that could sew shoes. Imagine a machine that could sew stretch leather and at the same time wrap it and fasten it around the sole of a shoe protect. Why the biggest brains in the world spent thousands of dollars trying to build this machine, but they found it impossible to build a machine so complex that it could duplicate the movements of the fingers. Everybody told you it was impossible. It couldn't be done. But you kept locking yourself up in that room night after night without rest, starving because you were too stubborn to buy food. You bought parts for that contraption. How many years did this go on, Jan? How many? Everybody called you a fool. Everybody called you a fool. An idiot. And from the looks of things, we was right.
You know something? You got everything a man could want.
Don't take your time, Jay.
Mustache, muscles, and strong chest. Hey, your feet so big, you can feel half of her shoes. Hey, you so ugly, she got some nerve talking to me like that. Old enough to be her big brother. Kids these days got it easy. Complaining about homework or an 8-hour job. That's nothing. I came to this country in 1873. I was a mechanic, but I couldn't speak a word of English. Nobody could give an old South American, no-talking Negro a decent job. So I studied to learn English. In just 2 years, I became what a lot of you kids are today. I could speak English, but I still couldn't talk. In 1877, I got a job stitching shoes together. And I worked from can't see in the morning till can't see at night. Yeah, you kids got it easy. Back then, racism was legislated. It was against the law for me to go to a decent school, so I educated myself. Bought books on biology, physics, mechanical science. I studied so hard. Yeah, you kids got it easy. With your gas sneakers on and your Air Jordan jeans. You know, the price of everything, the value of nothing. Opportunity sat right out there in front of you. All you gotta do is grab it. Here I am, real life genius. I'm bored. I'm sick. My doctor told me I got 6 months to live. But I couldn't pay the bills, so he gave me 6 more months. Yes, I nearly killed myself trying to build a machine that can make shoes. But after 5 years, going to junkyards, collecting pieces of metal, gears, levers, 5 years, sleepless nights, empty stomachs, and empty pockets, I created the laughing machine. Finally, it revolutionized the shoe industry. It created a multi-billion-dollar business. It made shoes faster and cheaper. Well, my shoes. 600. Without my machine, your shoes would cost $400. Her shoes would cost $800. Her shoes would cost $800. My machine built the consolidated machine company. They took my patent to create and own 90% of the shoe industry in the whole world. Look, here come some of the executives of the company now.
Money, 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 money. Is that Chad? The one who's responsible for all of our millions?
You're so cool! Let's give him one.
What do you mean, 1 million? What? 1,000?
No.
What?
No. We'll give him $1.
Jan Hertzman for appreciation for your contribution to mankind, we would like to endow you with the grand award of $1.
So the next time you put on a pair of shoes, get down on your hands and knees. And thank God Almighty. And me, because I'm a genius, a legend in my own time.
In all respect for the truth, there is no evidence that Jan Ernst met the leader was really a bomb. But with all he gave to the world and what little he received, we could imagine him being pretty down and out. Jan, the genius. Contracted tuberculosis and pneumonia and died at the age of 37. But there were many other geniuses from Africa to America who worked, studied, and succeeded in flooding the world with a mind-boggling array of inventions. Paper bag, folding chair, puncture-proof tires, vending machine, the potato chip, brain surgery, numerical systems, hundreds of other products. Even these theater lights are made to slide off and slide on by Black Inventions, who also gave us an electric incubator, electric railways, telephone transmitters for long hundreds of other electrical discoveries. Do not fear. The children are safe. The school bus is equipped with air brakes. All this by a man who didn't even finish elementary school. Granville T. Woods. Now, for further proof that our foremost contributions to this world are of the intellect, we are forced to take legal action. Summons from Mr. Austin Curtis Jr.
Order. Will the witness please identify himself?
My name is Austin Curtis Jr.
Please state for the court your relationship to the accused.
I'm Dr. George Washington Carver's assistant. I became his assistant in 1935. Working and conversing with Dr. Carver has given me an intimate look into his amazing life. In about the year 1860, little George was just a baby when he and his mother were kidnapped by night riders who made money by roaming the countryside, stealing slaves from their owners and then reselling. Little Carver's foster parent, Moses Carver, was so upset that he offered a reward for their return. A man named Jenkins could only locate George, who was so sickly that the night riders had left him for dead by a tree. These are the humble beginnings.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to prove to you, the judge, and the jury, beyond a reasonable doubt that the so-called Dr. Washington is not a great scientist, but indeed a witch. And will further prove that no man can have accomplished such great things in the mere span of a lifetime. First of all, a little about our credentials. My name's Hansel, and this is Dorothy. We both had personal experiences with witches. Dorothy was the wicked witch of the West, and I myself suffered a great tragedy when my wife was eaten by a witch living in a house made gingerbread.
Additionally, we both have degrees from Salem University in witch hunting.
This is ridiculous. How could Dr. be a witch?
Very easily. Mr. Curtis, will you please tell the court where Dr. Carver spent most of his time as a child?
In the woods?
And where the witches live?
It's ridiculous.
In the woods! In the woods!
That's where I lost my wife.
Not now, Hansel. And isn't it true that at age 10 he flew away from home to study witchery?
No, he left home to go to the only school in the area, 8 miles away, and he spent time in the woods because he felt a peace in nature. He thought it brought him closer to God.
But isn't it also true that he would strangely take walks through the woods at 4 a.m. in the morning after he passed 7 years old?
Yes, that's right.
And isn't it also true that he would hide behind bushes, grow fangs, and snatch the ears by people who pass by?
Now, why would he do that? When the devil would be passing by at 4 a.m. in the morning?
That's my point. The devil. The devil. The devil. No further questions.
He studied nature, that's all. Day after day, he spent hours studying plants and the habits of animals, firsthand, not just through books.
Curtis.
Yes.
Now, how do you accomplish that, sir? How do you accomplish that being born a slave? And how would he have done it? I put a spell on poor white people.
Dr. Carver's white foster parents encouraged him to read and learn as much about the world as he could, so he arrived at Central College in 1890 prepared for the challenge. After working, then he paid his tuition, he had only 10 cents left. So he used 5 cents to buy beef stew and spent the remaining 5 cents for cornmeal. Then he stopped for a few days until he could borrow 2 10 to watch for soap and stock and announced to all the students that he was opening up the laundry. The money he made from washing dirty clothes put food in his stomach while he lived in an abandoned shack without heat. He cut wood, cleaned houses, became a school janitor, anything to pay for his school. He worked so hard that he was praised for his that.
Please stop rambling. Answer the question, yes or no.
But you just asked me to tell you what Dr. Carter just accomplished.
If it please the court, I'd like to present Exhibit A. What is this? Has Mr. Carter used this? Let me ask you. Has he ever used it like this? Or like this? Is it true that all witches use it like this, yet you say the accused is not a witch?
That's right.
Does the date October 31st have any special significance to you, sir?
Well, no, I can't think of it.
Let me remind this person that he's under oath, perfectly prosecuted to fulfill the law.
Work it, Hansel.
I ask you again, does the date October 31st have any special significance to you?
No, except the fact that
Halloween! Why would you say that? Is it because that's his favorite day? The day he feels most alive? And if Halloween is his favorite day, I guess 13 is his favorite number.
he was a very talented artist. He won an award at the World Fair for one of his paintings. He came to Tuskegee Institute in Alabama where he taught farming methods and the sciences. In his laboratory there, he discovered new species of fungi. He recorded 1,010 for the state of Alabama. Through crossbreeding, he made a new type of cotton that was blood resistant. He made milk from peanuts that saved thousands of lives in the Belgian Congo. He made thick soft grubs from okra, made marble from sawdust, made talcum powder from clay, 533 different dyes from plants.
We would like to submit this number, 533, divided by 41 equals
13!
He's dying out there. Please continue, Mr. Curtis.
By all means.
He also created scouring powder. During the war in 1918, he taught the U.S. Army dehydration techniques and showed them how to make bread from sweet potatoes. He invented a peanut oil therapy for the treatment of polio paralysis and injured limbs, 95% effective. He designed a demonstration wagon that taught farming methods throughout the South and became the first federal government service for Negroes of the South. China, Macedonia, India, and African countries duplicated this idea.
No one is interested. No, Mr. Carver did all these things
Yes.
by himself.
Yes.
Impossible! No one could have accomplished all those things without the use of the devil's magic, witchcraft. To further prove to the courts how utterly impossible it was for a black man to achieve all of these things, I will tell about a few occurrences that happened in the surrounding areas of Tuskegee that will prove Carver must have put a spell on masses of people in order to surmount the racist attitudes of the times. Southern etiquette demanded that blacks never refer to themselves as Mr. or Mrs. because they are not, have not been, and will never be human enough to deserve the title. After overhearing a black couple who had forgotten this rule, a white citizen threatened to kill both of them. In another incident, a northern black man unfamiliar with Southern hospitality was asked by a white store clerk if he liked the selection of ties. The northerner politely said no, and the store clerk stabbed him within an inch of his heart because he was supposed to say yes. Even Carver had a lynch mob after him because they mistook him for another black man who had been seen sitting in the front seat of a horse and buggy with a white woman.
afford it. Some gave thousands to Tuskegee. Thomas Edison offered the doctor a salary of $100,000 a year. A dye stuff firm gave him a blank check for his dye colors, yet the doctor refused these offers and worked for $1,500 a year at Tuskegee because he felt he was most needed there.
If God was driving, you turned out $100,000, God must have been driving him crazy.
Look, I've had enough of this. Dr. Carver's not a witch. If the doctor is a witch, Harriet Tubman is a witch. Martin Luther King is a witch.
We have evidence to that effect. You are all dismissed. You are all dismissed. Order in this court. Tell you a story about a man named Jed. Wore out near that kept his family fed. Then one day he was shooting at some food. And up through the ground come a bubbling cruise.
Well, that little black boy fell school again.
What did he do?
Well, the teacher asked him to have a vocabulary test, and she said spell the words deduct, defeat, and defense in a sentence. Now, so you're a lawyer, how would you use those words?
Yes, I would say if you deduct guns from our community, you defeat good citizens who only kill in self-defense.
Fair enough, fair enough.
What did he say?
He said, the farmer shot the duck in the feet, and he jumped the fence. It's always said.
Tell you a story about a man named Jed. Wore out near that dad's family fed. Then one day he was shooting at some food.
Honey, ha ha ha, but inaccurate. Because our foremost contributions to this world are of the intellect. Now I want everybody to sit back, relax, because I'm about to tell you something that goes against everything you ever believed in. The Beverly Hillbillies were not the real McCoys. The real McCoys are actually lubricating mechanisms that oils the world's machines. Otherwise, they would wear out or burn up very quickly. Before the cup was invented, machines could only work for moments at a time. But with the cup, machine could run for months or years at a time. Needless to say, no one would buy equipment unless they first asked, was it a real McCoy? Why would they ask if it was a real McCoy? Because the lubricating cup was invented by Elijah McCoy, one of those people. Another contributor to our foremost contributions was Benjamin Banneker. He helped lay out the streets of our nation's capital. He wrote one of the world's most accurate almanac. More importantly, he built his life around Noah, the woman he loved. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the world's most intelligent machine, the contraption. Why are you dressed this way?
We're dressed this way
in honor of
Black women.
black women.
In honor of black women.
To deserve such an honor, what have black women accomplished? Thermodynamic engineering for space vehicles.
Spaceflight therapy for U.S. astronauts.
New methods in microbiology to prevent the deterioration of military materials.
Reconstruction of jet aircraft to control sonic boom.
The analytical design for advanced Army and Navy radar.
The invention of the ironing board.
Wow. What else have they accomplished? The survival
Of our people.
Yes. Black women have always used their ingenuity for the betterment of the family. Often taking a backseat to allow her man the self-esteem to lead.
Whatever. Riding beside us in relentless support.
Or taking over the driver's seat whenever we were unable to function. Wow. Does this mean that black women are responsible for everything our people have accomplished throughout our history?
No, not everything.
Well, for everything they did do, they at least bore a child who did. Ain't that right?
Yes. Yeah, maybe. Yes.
Another contributor of our foremost contributions was Benjamin Banneker. He helped lay out the streets of our nation's capital. He wrote one of the most accurate almanacs. A self-taught astronomer, he predicted eclipse months and years ahead of time. He built America's first clock, but most importantly, he built his life around a Nova, the woman he loved. What was that? Who's there? That was a fantastic imitation of the bird brain call. Please come out. I must meet you. Oh, it was you. That was a fabulous imitation of the bird brain call. It's as if you are a bird brain. You must have done this all of your life.
Are you through? There ain't no gas in mine. I wouldn't have it for no fall.
Why not? Just because I called you the bird brain? There's nothing wrong with that. You know that birds fly south, they travel from 25 to 60 miles an hour at a height of 25,000 feet, covering 2,000 miles without stopping. Now, if you relate that energy to birds, unit of movement per flight time distance, that's the same as a human being running for 80 seconds an hour. Birds are amazing creatures. Be proud of your heritage, girl. How was your day?
Fine, except for master working me to death. How was yours?
It was filled with the usual problems of scientists trying to get bomb and shoes, but I'll make it work. anybody followed and taught me who I am in details I had overlooked. That's intelligence. On numerous occasions, you have analyzed our relationship precisely. That's intelligence. Showed me to be your man. That's intelligence of the highest order. I want to marry you, Nola.
No, you don't.
You can at least try to work something out.
Oh, you want to work something out? Okay, we'll work something out. Let's come over here inside this marriage agreement.
We can at least try.
All right.
You want to be married? We'll get married. True fussing.
Miss Anola. Sign this marriage agreement. Miss Anola and Mr. Benjamin shall be man and wife for as long as the sun shall shine and the moon shall glow, or 2 weeks, whichever come first. And you know what's going to come first? And you know what's going to come first? Master and his slave catchers, they all going to be right there with us. And when we say I do, no, we don't, because he would rather kill his runaway slave than to whoop them. Benjamin, why don't you just be thankful for what we got? A lot of people live a lifetime without finding a love that they can depend on, but we got that and more. Why you got to be so greedy?
When things are different, I've got the money to buy you from.
I don't want to see you no more.
Talking about buying you from.
You must-
Talking about buying you from. Got the money to buy you. It doesn't make any difference. The elder pastor give me an elevated price.
Well, I hope them white friends got enough money to pay for your funeral too.
No, come back here. Excuse me, sir. Can I inquire about purchasing an oath?
No, come here. Get over here right now. This boy tells me that he wants to marry you and says you want to marry him too. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
Fancy that. Slave, trying to buy a slave.
I'm not a slave, I'm a free man.
I don't know that boy, and I don't know you. What am I supposed to take your word for it?
No, I happen to have my documents that signed here by.
That don't mean nothing to me, boy. I can't even read.
Well, I can read it for you.
Look here. I'm gonna give you 3 minutes to get off my land. If I ever see you around here again, it'll be the last place you ever go. Before you go, I want you to take a look at this little creek. Bring your face down there. No matter how many books you read, or how much money you have, or how many highfalutin words you speak, every time you look in that river, all you're gonna see is a nibbler. Get off my land. Nola, I'll talk to you later.
Benjamin, will you marry me? I'll meet you tonight. Go anywhere you want to take me. There is no other desire, no desire greater than my wanting you. Being one with you beside me, no more hiding, always knowing that I have you.
and thus the great romance of Enola and Benjamin. Now, we aren't certain as to how Enola died. There were accounts that she was killed in the escape attempt. Other accounts have the expectation of the shooting her in the jealous rage, still others insisted that Enola killed herself, refusing to live with the man she loved. No, we aren't certain, but we do know that Benjamin Banneker never married, and he never loved again. Now, we're going to take you into the Twilight Zone, a world without inventions by Africans and African Americans.
Yes. Hi, Jomo. I lost 1.5 pounds this week. That new diet is really working well. How was your day, Tia?
Fine, traffic was a bit tight. You know how impatient I get coming home to my baby. You're lovely. What happened to the paper?
Here's the paper. I have dinner ready for you in a minute.
Hi, aren't you ironing a bit late in the day?
I scrubbed all the walls with Ajax and I mopped the upstairs floors. So that set me way back in all my household chores.
Been any new poems lately? Oh, it's freezing in here. Why do you have the air conditioner on?
Because when you're around, my temperature rises.
And now if only your IQ could rise with it.
Yeah, you can't even spell IQ.
Look, woman, I don't need any of your lip, but why should be obscene, not heard, at least.
Whoa.
You're sick where you are. Looks like your hometown made the front page. Pittsburgh suffers its worst coal mine explosion in more than a decade. Minor injuries, thank God.
Yeah, Mama called and told me all about it.
Your mother, is she still calling for lead?
You leave my mother alone.
You tell your mother to keep our telephone bill alone. Murders, robberies, layoffs. And on top of all that, we're going to testify that UMX missile again. I guess they're tired of sending rockets to the moon with 3 this year. Now they're sending rockets to each other. Let's get away from it. Get away from all this for a while. Let's go on a nice long vacation.
I get it. Yes.
Ocean Liner,
Jack.
kiss. They would love to.
You ain't nothing but a hound dog. You ain't nothing but a hound dog. What they say?
That's the only time I can get those bottomless pits to listen to me. You know, I think we should give birth to Elvis Presley freaks.
You're the one who made them take that music appreciation class in school.
Yeah, I know, but Elvis Presley and Pink, don't they know any other things?
Yeah, the crispy dance. Yeah.
Crispy, what?
It's a
Yeah.
rock group. Yeah, baby.
Sounds like a horror movie or breakfast cereal.
E.T. says I did a 3 seconds flat, a new world record.
All right, now we'll stop with the bulldog. This is not a real man. I told you to get your growl. I mean,
Ooh, soup.
Ooh, soup.
Ooh, soup and salad.
Ooh, soup and salad.
Ooh, soup and salad and forks and spoons.
Ooh, soup, salad, forks, spoons.
Ooh, soup and salad and forks and spoons. And mommy and daddy.
Ooh, soup, salad, forks, spoons. Mommy and daddy.
Stop playing at the dinner table. Jamal, say the grace.
okay.
No, it's my turn to say grace. It's my turn to say grace.
All right, get a hold of yourself. Just say the grace.
God is great, God is good, and we thank Him for our food. If I should die before I wake, God has made a big mistake.
That was not funny. That was very disrespectful. Where did you get that from?
Well, Daddy told me.
We're not concerned with where you got that from, young lady. Just don't let us hear you repeating that again.
Should have let me say it.
Wow, oh shucks, that was great, son. Jazz, you keep up the good work.
And what else happened?
Oh, I got shot.
Oh, my poor baby, he's been wounded.
Dad, stop being silly. You know what I mean. I've been isolated.
Vaccinated, stupido.
Shut up before we make you say the grace again.
Hold it, stop it.
Grace.
Children, eat. That's the only time they listen to me.
Maya, tell your father what you learned at school today.
I don't have time.
Oh, that's great. What time is it?
E.T. says it's 4 minutes after 20.
Okay, that's great, that's great. You know, you are both doing so well in school that as a reward, I think I'll buy each one of you little geniuses a big, beautiful, shiny new bicycle.
We're gonna get a bicycle. We're gonna get a bicycle. Other people are poor, but we're gonna get a bicycle.
typical father, living a typical family, living a stereotypical American way of life with two ugly kids, enjoying the vast, almost simple pleasures of modern convenience, without thanks, without appreciation, without awareness that his overflowing happiness is nothing more than a mere byproduct of Black Inventions of political form. A man who is uncomplex life is about to come to the abrupt frightening and tragic end, but he's off with his lovely life. I'm going into the twilight zone. A world without inventions for Africans and African Americans.
How was your day, dear?
Horrible.
Well, what happened?
I don't know where to start. There were cars crashing, people just walking on the sidewalks were being run over. It was as if everybody's brakes had failed, or they didn't have any brakes at all. People were dying all over the place. Honey, I saw 5 big motorcycle accidents, and none of them were wearing safety helmets and traffic lights. All gone. I don't know what happened to them. The government budget cuts, I guess. And on top of all this confusion, my car kept running hot, needing oil. Ooh, I oiled it 5 times before fire.
Safety, helmets, traffic lights. You're not making any sense there. Maybe you've been working too hard.
I'm not working too hard. As a matter of fact, I left work early today because my office building burned down. The fire started with a little trash can, but no one could put it out because there were no fire extinguishers in the whole building.
Fire extinguishers.
No. Extinguishers. Some prankster must have stolen them all.
Oh, my poor baby. You come on over here and sit down and meditate, and I'll massage your neck. You know, Joe, I had a pretty rough day too. It took got these huge blisters on my hands and on my knees from trying to scrub the spots out of the floor with hot water.
What happened when we run out of day jacks?
Hey, Jack.
Yeah, scouring powder.
Scalding powder?
And since when did you start getting on your hands and knees to scrub the floor? Where's the mop?
Mop? Oh, I know, that book you've been reading, 6 Weeks of Word Power. It has really expanded your vocabulary. I'm so proud of you. Now get up. Stand up, you've relaxed enough. Need you to tell me something. How much weight have I lost?
What are you asking me for?
Well, how am I supposed to know?
Use your scale.
Scales! All right, sure, my skin may be a little dry, but you don't have to insult me. Scales!
All right, you gotta stop taking these trips to Disneyland. It's just be like, what happened? What happened to the lights?
Joe, you know the lights on.
You know, strange here you call me Joe.
Well, does it bother you when I cut your name short like that?
Name, Joe, it is. You're always talking about how abbreviating our names is an insult to
All right.
African heritage.
Okay, Joe, really, Bob.
Very funny. Thank you. No. Hey, it looks like your hometown made the front page. Pittsburgh suffers its worst coal mining explosion in more than a decade. Minor injuries, thank God. In more than a decade. No.
My goodness.
No one was hurt. Everybody died. Half of them were crushed to death and the other half suffocated from the poisonous fumes. It seems to me they ought to have safety devices for
Gas?
such a tragedy, at least gas masks.
Yes, what?
I wonder why your mother didn't call. She called about everything else.
You know my mother lives all the way in Pittsburgh. What do you expect for her to do? Make a long distance phone call? Oh, you're so ridiculous.
Right. Oh. We testified that UMX missile again. This time, we went off course and landed 5 miles outside of Moscow. Now the Russians are in conference to decide whether or not to counterattack. Just think World War III may start because our computers don't have a guidance system. Oh man, forget about that cruiser and that new ocean liner. The gigantic. It says here the ship can't move because the Costello disappeared. Isn't that weird?
What do you mean?
You know exactly what I mean, Jamie. Mary. Very fine.
Jamie, are you all right?
Young lady, do you know you almost choked your brother to death by tying that rope around his neck?
I'm sorry, we were just playing rodeo.
That is not how you play rodeo. And you certainly don't boil up a stiff by mentioning it. If I ever catch you doing that again, I'm going to make sure.
Oh, bulldog.
What do you want me?
He called you a Jamal. That's a dead horse.
Stop teasing your brother. Say the grace. What happened to the lights?
You know the lights only stay on a few moments, dear. Would you spoon another ball, please?
All right.
Never mind. I'll handle it. I got this. Yeah.
I learned that sometime.
That's that wonderful, dear. Come for daddy with 5 minutes. Okay.
Young
I'm
lady,
looking for
what
sunlight
is yours?
for Daddy, so I can tell you the time.
Maya, put that thing away and look at your watch.
What are you doing?
He called you a Maya. That's a dead horse's hiney.
Maya, so you put that thing away, look at your watch, and tell me the godforsaken time.
Okay, Daddy, okay.
You're scaring her, Joe!
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Maya, if you tell Daddy what time it is, Daddy will promise to buy you and your big brother a big, beautiful, shiny new bicycle.
What's a bicycle?
I'm watching.
Use your watch.
Stop! You're scaring her, Joe.
I'm going to do more than. Stop calling me Joe.
All right, Joe, Billy Bob. Joe, Billy Bob. Sheesh.
By the way, Dad, what's a gas mask?
And honey, what's that traffic light?
What's an iron?
Hey, Dad, what's a jazz?
Honey, what's a portable
Thank you.
I want to thank all of you for coming tonight and for supporting, keeping the promise and the scholarship. And we'd like to, we welcome your donations. I would like to introduce a very important man, Mr. Freeman, the writer of Thank you so much for coming, and please tell your friends. There'll be a performance tomorrow evening. About the 1001 invention. So again, we're having a performance tomorrow evening at 8 o'clock in the evening. Tell your friends, tell your family, and please have a safe drive home or walk back to the